I'm Nadia Cazares.
My name is Sam Bannon.
And I'm Alex Boryszewski.
And for our international marketing plan, we will be talking about mink campers in Ireland. So here's a little about the company. Mink Campers is a portable trailer company established in 2015 in Iceland. Mink's mission is helping people easily connect with nature through a policy of functionality, sustainability, craftsmanship, and durability. The company has already expanded into Norway, Germany, UK, Netherlands, Slovakia, and Austria, and our marketing plan will be targeted towards Ireland. For Mink's expansion into another country, we found Ireland to be a great option due to its vast, beautiful landscape that is well suited to cross-country travel. Since Mink has already expanded across Europe, Ireland will be an easy transition as there is not much institutional distance from its home country in Switzerland. Tourism is an important part of the Irish economy, with the camping sector contributing about 120 million to the Irish economy, with 93 registered caravan and camping parks to explore.
After identifying the target country, we decided to pursue an exporting entry mode, not only based on the advantages and disadvantages as seen here, but also based on our analysis of the net economic benefit. So to go through quickly, some of the advantages we had identified early on would include exporting as having low risk and being the easiest way to engage within the global market. Mink Campers already transacts with multiple European countries, including the UK, and the UK is in close proximity to Ireland. And so we see this as a potential advantage in terms of costs of transportation and other things of that nature. We also see this as an opportunity for Iceland to increase trade with Ireland, as Iceland already interacts, as mentioned, with many other European countries. Some of the disadvantages we identified, however, are that once Ireland contracts with a retailer, or Iceland contracts with the retailer in Ireland, they'll have less control over the product and the way it's perceived within that market. Another possible disadvantage could be minimal local knowledge of Irish culture, hopefully combated through our analysis that we're going through now in terms of institutional distance and looking at the cage framework. And there could be a potential negative environmental impact depending upon how those trailers will be transported from Iceland to Ireland. Looking at the net economic benefit, we use this to determine whether Mink Campers should pursue a contractual or investment entry mode. The top three categories and costs as seen in this graph are the costs we have estimated to be associated with the contractual entry mode. These costs include the estimated cost of finding a retailer in Ireland, transporting the Mink Campers to Ireland, and then travel costs to enforce contracts with those distributors. Looking to different investment entry modes, which include a joint venture or wholly owned subsidiary. In this instance, they may have more control over the product. However, these costs are significantly higher, as the costs would include building or producing a new retail location in Ireland, recruiting and training costs for staff, which would likely be reoccurring, and then the cost of controlling a subsidiary in Ireland. So when you put those together using the net economic benefit formula, net economic benefit comes out to be less than zero, which indicates to us that we made the correct choice of exporting. Now moving on to the cage framework to help determine institutional distance, we look at the cultural component using Hofstede's cultural dimensions. In this case, as you can see, many of the dimensions seem to line up well between Iceland and Ireland. The most notable difference, however, is in masculinity. In this case, Irish natives strive to be the best that they can be, are achievement-oriented and motivated by success, where Iceland is considered a definitively more feminine society with greater emphasis and focus on the quality of life and caring for others. This will be kind of mentioned farther on within our marketing plan as to how to combat this difference, but for the most part, cultural distance between the two countries is minimal. Moving on to administrative distance, we took a look at the ease of doing business index, and we found that Ireland and Iceland ranked similarly here as well. 24 and 26 respectively, with similar scores indicating a narrow institutional distance. And these differences look at national policies and regulations amongst countries. So we can infer that Ireland and Iceland have similar regulatory environments. Now looking at the geographic distance, we consider the distance between the two countries as stated there. But we also take a look at the topography and how in both countries it's well suited for outdoor recreation, which is great. Both are island nations, which makes them a bit more secluded. However, Ireland is within close proximity to the UK, which is a hub in Europe, as well as other European nations. And in Ireland, we noted that there is abundant rainfall due to their very temperamental climate. And so in this case, for the camper, a mink camper would be a favorable alternative to a tent when going on a camping trip. Moving on to economic, finally taking a look at Ireland and Iceland, we compare GDP per capita and use this to note the differences between economic structures, cost of labor, and level of consumer income. So Ireland has a higher GDP per capita, indicating to us that they would be able to afford the luxury mink camper. And in the same realm, they're the fifth freest economy. Iceland does not fall far behind, however, as the 11th freest economy, with similar scores indicating that their economic structures and the ability for their governments to allow labor and capital and goods to move freely through each country is similar.
And so I will talk about segmenting, targeting, and positioning and how Mink should do that in Ireland. So we recommend proposing segmenting not based on location or by demographics, but on attributes. So simply put, by those who like to travel and those who do not like to travel. And so more or less probably what they already do as it is in Iceland. On their website, on the About Us page, this is an image from that website. It says connect with nature, and then has, of course, the picture of someone traveling in Iceland. So by having it based on travelers and those who do not like to travel, they can best target to those who are most likely to use their product. And in Ireland, a little less than 5 million people in the country, but according to Tourism Ireland in 2019, over 11 million tourists, over 11 million tourists in the country in 2019 alone. So by targeting those who travel and those who don't like to travel, not only is there nearly 5 million people in the country, but twice as many tourists, so twice as many people who are there just on the sole purpose of traveling, so they can better help target to those customers who are most likely to use their product. And in terms of positioning, recommend Mink, again, continues what they already do in Iceland and the other countries they are already in, and that is a luxury add-on for those who travel. And so in Ireland, this is a great, great benefit for Mink to have, just because, again, the 11.3 million tourists, the GDP per capita in Ireland is a little less than $90,000, so certainly something that's not low. So if you're in Ireland and you're traveling, you likely already have the money. So by by positioning this as a luxury product, those who have the money to spend it, or rather to spend the money on the product, they can then do that when they are in Ireland.
Based off of our analysis so far, we have determined that standardization of the design and the price will be the best option going forward into Ireland. This is due to the sleek attachable design of the Mink camper, which is a competitive advantage in and of itself because many competing campers are in the form of a trailer And this option allows customers to take their own car and just attach to the back. Looking at Mink's past history entering other countries, they have kept their price and design standardized. So we would also offer a rental option entering Ireland, as this is a pretty popular option for vacations or for a limited time, and it's also more affordable. The camper will be priced at about $15,000 before add-ons, which is compared to a competing brand price of $27,000 of a similar size. So competitive advantage in price and design.
So in terms of promotion, we recommend that Mink change it just slightly to how they have it currently in Iceland. So we looked at Hobson's dimensions and how Ireland has their masculinity level about 7 times as high, from 68 to 10. So just a slight change with the promotion strategy, and instead of saying connect with nature, have it saying conquer nature to help play into that masculinity aspect of the Irish culture and the achievement orientation of the masculinity. And then finally with place, setting up Mink camper rentals in places where travelers are most likely to be in Ireland. That's the airport, that's an airport in Dublin, the Image, and also train stations around the country. So therefore, Mink is in front of the people who are most likely to use their products, and that is those people who are traveling. So this would be more or less a slight change from what they do now. They already have a rental contract with Avis car rental companies, so doing that, but then more so in Ireland. Then to conclude the presentation, we talked a little bit about Mink trailers, rather Mink campers, the target country of Ireland, exporting, the net economic benefit of being less than 0, so solidifying that exporting is the right decision, the cage framework, SCP, and then more or less keeping the marketing mix standardized as we move into Ireland.